Thank you very much.
Ma'am.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we can hear
Okay,
you.
great. First of all, I would like to convey my greetings, my warm gratitude to Dr. Shakir for invitation. Although I'm very sick, but I didn't cancel my participation because I know what is this, and I was a student and I had these tough challenges. I faced these problems. And so it's a really cool opportunity to share my experiences with you, all of you. So thank you very much to Dr. Shaker first, to Professors Associations for invitation to take to have this opportunity actually being here. And I would like also greet my dearest friend Kaiser. I can't see him, but hopefully he's here with us. So happy to see all of you here. And my presentation will be about the critical reading and writing skills. And you heard before me the presentations. You heard a lot of you got a lot of information from the speakers before me, and they were really good and really precious opinions. I even took some notes for myself as well. And in the internet, actually, you can see. Can you see my presentation or not? I just wanted to be sure. Can you see it or not?
Right at the moment,
No,
I
ma'am.
cannot see it. Yeah.
Can you see it? Yep. Hopefully you can. Okay.
No.
No?
No, ma'am.
No, not at all.
Okay, how can I do it then? Oops.
Uh,
I guess that, yeah, I sent my presentation
Please.
to you.
Please,
Share
Dr.
your
Kevu,
screen.
stop your screen sharing. So, ma'am will start the presentation. It's a request to Dr. Kevu to stop his screen sharing.
Just let me know, okay? When should I start?
Mr. Amir, is it okay now? Dr.
Dr.
Kevu has stopped his sharing.
At the bottom of your screen, there is an option of screen sharing, and when you click the screen sharing option, then you will find your presentation, and then you click your presentation. It will be visible to all the participants then.
Oh, okay. So,
look at the below of your screen.
okay, yeah.
There is an option, for example, chat. Along with chat, there is a share screen
Oh, yeah,
option.
yeah. Okay, okay, great. I got it.
Click it.
Yep. Can you see
Yeah.
it? Oh, okay,
now,
great.
Yes.
Yeah, finally.
Now
Okay.
you are successful.
Yeah, at last. Okay, so this is about critical reading and writing skills. I guess that there are a lot of sources in the internet you can find out about the critical reading, critical thinking, critical writing, about different types of writing and reading. But sometimes, you know, when we just read all of these materials, all of the sources, and we follow the guides, but sometimes the result is not appealing. So in this webinar, totally, and particularly in mine, we'll try to find answers to some core points, how we can deliver our message to the audience, what is the way of thinking, and what are the steps of critical reading and writing. And I wanted to share and to explain actually my opinions and my assumptions within the framework of my own proposal. I guess that it will be real actually to see by your own eye. And one is my PhD thesis, and the other is the proposal I submitted to Oxford University to the Chevening program, and it was accepted by the board, so it was approved. So I just want to share my examples within these two sources. Okay, first golden rule. Okay, now here. Oh, yeah. First golden rule. Emotional and mentally prepare yourself to the writing process and understand that it's not easy consciously control the process. As we here to discuss the problems and challenges the students face during the writing process, so I will address to them actually. So keep calm and motivate yourself because it's really important. You should be engaged actually with the topic. You should be enough motivated because otherwise it will be really boring and really dissatisfying result, you know, dissatisfying process, and you will give up actually even in the middle of the process because it's too hard actually. So motivate yourself, and you can even just reward you in the end and with a gift, with something, or just think that it will be one of the biggest victory you gained during your life, or you will achieve big applause. So just motivate and encourage yourself. And so I tried to do it somewhat colorful, not to be boring too much. Like a writing process, it's a series of multilateral tasks, each of which construct research work. It's not about that I want to write, okay, I come and I'm writing. No, it doesn't work such way. Oh, okay. So yeah, so the writing process, there are 3 steps: pre-writing, development, revision. Pre-writing, this is some kind starting to the writing. It's reading, analyzing the sources, collecting the sources for your bibliography. It's really important step actually. And development, when after collecting sources, after analyzing all materials, you're ready to start your write. You make a thesis statement, then you write bodies for the construction, bodies for your research, and you're supporting your ideas and arguments, and in the end you resume that. So this is construction, and every writing actually depends on this construction. And in the end, this is revision, points to strengthen the composition, such as appendix, list of terms, references, bibliography. That is, I guess that is the much, the hardest and much difficult part of the research work, because it really takes a lot of time just to do it within the framework of the rules set by the institute or by the faculty. Okay, let's go. So the main task of the ProWriting process is to explore alternatives by simply asking 4 or 5 questions. So what am I going to write about? Why am I writing it? How am I going to say it? Who is my target audience, and what impact do I want to make? This is really important actually. You should try to find answers to these questions, because it actually constitutes your research work. Okay, so who is my audience? Analyze your audience first. Precise the targeted group to whom you are going to deliver your message, because don't think that you know, your research will be approved by the audience, by the by majority, and be ready to meet the challenges, because one of the Arabic poet of the medieval age, he said that when we writing something, don't think that only our friends and relatives will evaluate it, but our enemies as well, and they will not like to approve or to praise us. They will try to criticize it. So write in that way, that to meet all critical remarks, to meet all challenges, and don't give up. So analyzing your audience is really important, because you actually produce a product, but the purchaser is your audience. So you try for your audience, and you should write in that way that they could accept it. Okay, then what am I going to write about? Okay, I want to just see. Okay, yeah, what am I going to write about? So it can be either of the topic of your experience, or something new, or something that you're interested very much, or in course you most, because as I've mentioned before, it's really important. It's really important that the topic encourage and motivate you just to finish it in the end. So or it can be a topic assigned by supervisor or by a faculty. So in all cases, your research topic should be relevant, worthwhile, creative, and interesting. And actually, why am I writing it? When we're asking it, why am I writing it? Make it clear why it's important to write about this particular topic just now. Why it will be interesting to your audience, and what benefit will you get from this? So be selfish and selfless at the same time. Be selfish, it means that gain insight that this is significantly your topic, you will achieve success, and you can actually deliver your message to your audience, and you can get that fame. Yeah, just motivate yourself, be selfish a little bit. And but while you're investigating this topic, you discover your inner outer world. We're investigating actually, and we're communicating with your audience. This is really important. But don't think about your own purposes and benefits only, because you should represent your target audience, and you should actually you should think about your audience first, and think about the ways how can you deliver the message to them. Okay, so and just remember that your presentation will reveal your attitude toward your subject. So you can actually to show yourself through your writing to your audience. It's really important. How can you deliver, convey your message? How am I going to say it? But the construction, the basement of writing proposal is really important. As far as the pillars and the basement is really firm, you can actually break the building. It will be really easy to break it actually. So planning, editing, revising, and proofreading is really important. And avoid logical leaps, intolerant and anti-racist claims, personal prejudice, use generalization, be exact, precise, and logical. This is actually useful tips for answering these questions. Okay, how I use the information in my research. Okay, let's go. Yep. Here, oh my goodness, I guess that there should be something. Okay, I skipped it. There are two types of reading, and skimming, descriptive, and sorry. Okay, here, yep. Here, two types of reading, descriptive and critical. A descriptive reading is what text says actually. So we grasp the text without following the progress of the work. We just summarize the assumption with a statement or state this assumption. We don't look for some hidden a message given by the author, and we don't justify or any arguments given by author with the source, but what kind of information we get, such as narrative, outline, and background. So I just wanted to give examples of descriptive reading. During my research about 10th century poet Al-Mutanabi, he was very famous. He was rebel, and he served in different palaces. He was really famous, and even Saddam Hussein liked him very much, and he has really great poems. He was a philosopher, a poet. At the same time, he was the leader of political uprising. So my purpose was to definite the nickname of Mutanabi. So I just applied two sources. One is the Shoghi, the other was given by Petrovsky. So here I just use descriptive reading and restate what was given by both sources. The first is Shoghi states that rebellion and Mutanabi took part and wasn't religious or Gramatian, as some researchers say, but political and popular. Okay, so this is descriptive reading, descriptive rating, and I restate what Shoghi actually said. And accordingly, I cite Shoghi there, and I showed them the source where I took this information. And the other source is given by Petrovsky, as is known in the 8th century in Arabia. Most people equally with Prophet Muhammad wasallam, also themselves Allah messengers. For example, Muslim from the Yemenite tribe, Nifas Sijab from Tamim, Al-Aswad from the Valley, Hufan, Ibn Said, and others. There is lack of information about them. They heeded the political movement of the last years of the Prophet of Muhammad. However, they started preaching as religious figures earlier. So I restated two information. I restated information from two sources and summarized in that kind. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah. And how I used the information in my research. I used that worthwhile information about the Mohammedan period of the Islamic era, that not only messengers, not only prophets, but poets and the leaders of the political uprisings, they were called messengers, and they were as famous as messengers of Allah, and it was the highest rank actually among the Mohammedan people, and it was for their leading qualities, for their lack of skills. So this information I got from these two, and not only these two sources, of course, I just, for example, give here. And I responded to both sources in that way. So it's quite possible that Mutanabi is hating the popular uprising and calls to his followers to come out against the non-Arabic government, aroused to believe in his prophecy. On the other hand, Al-Mutanabi's claims on power and lack of speech sounding as it be declared himself as a judge who will unite the Arabs under the single government system, made people believe in the magic of his speech. Emirs and Khalifs were accepted as Allah governs on earth, his representatives. Probably this is the very reason that the young poet's claims on power gained the name Al-Mutanabi, showing himself as a prophet for him. It's not mere chance that the Eastern authors reveal his pen name as would-be prophet or striving for prophecy. So I use this information. This is critical writing already. I restate the information I got from both sources, And I argued and justified, interpret its content, evaluated and justified my arguments by referring to these sources actually, and by making my own argument. I used the information given in both sources for my benefit, as my purpose is to definite the nickname of Al-Mutanabbi. I didn't just justify the arguments given there, because both authors, they showed that Mutanabbi's prophecy wasn't merely of his leadership, and it wasn't merely of his leadership skills or political or religious affiliation, but his competence is a point. So I tried to show that it was the competence of the poet, it was his self-efficacy or persuasion ability that made him to be accepted as a messenger of Allah. In conclusion, I justified my arguments by introducing him as a herald over the right word, as a messenger to his people. So I just linked his nickname with the rank of messenger, just he was actually herald of the word, someone who can communicate with people, someone who can lead people with his own words. So this is my argument. Okay, so as I've mentioned, reading actually could be descriptive and critical, but there are 3 steps of reading: skimming, scanning, and depth reading. I guess that students who actually did the IELTS exams actually know about skimming and scanning. Skimming is just read the first sentences or index or introduction or chapters, just skim it. And scan it, you're looking for something special, particular word or particular topic. In depth, it's essential. You try to understand the concepts given by an author or arguments. So just make it sure that descriptive reading and critical reading, they actually differ. Okay, let's go. When actually you read source, you can identify the strategies and tactics, incorporate this strategy and tactic actually to your own research work. So, for example, you can find some really reliable and precious source from the experts in your field, and you can just follow the way of his thinking, the way how he delivered the arguments. You can just memorize and just take red pen and highlight and redline all of these arguments just for your research work. It's really useful and helpful tip actually, and it really works. So, and first just skim it, the chapter headlines and paragraphs, everything. Then scan it. So just find your own topic that you're interested in and highlight it, and focus actually to on this particular topic, on your topic in that source, because actually scanning will help you to focus critical thoughts and to constitute your research work. And then when you find the evidence, you can when you find the evidence, and you can restate it, summarize, or you can give it, you can analyze and give arguments, justify or argue the content of the source. But when you find something useful, just drop it into your doc file and cite and quote the page and the author. It's really important when you will constitute your bibliography. Okay, what is the critical reading? So we said that descriptive reading is what text says, but critical, what text means. It's something when you descriptively read something, actually your active is passive. You just read it. You summarize your state, you just read it. You get information. But when you approach to the reading critically, so you try to understand what text means, what kind of sort of information try to deliver me. So you question its assumptions, arguments, then you interpret meaning in the context, and in the end you evaluate it. So critical reading is following the progress of the given information, interpret the information we are arguing or justifying, and indicating the essential points for the research work. Let's go. Okay, so there are some useful tips. As I've mentioned, when you find out something, evidence, argument that can be useful for you, incorporate the strategy, the tactic used by the writers into your writing. Don't look primarily for information, something, okay, I got this information, it's okay, no way. Just try to find out the way of thinking and the way of how you can deliver the message. So, and be aware that different disciplines actually will have different ways of arguing. And when you find something, when you find the evidence that can be useful for you, as I've mentioned, just redline it, highlight it, and add it to your deck file. Use the quotation critically. It's really important, because otherwise, when you don't cite to the source at all, it will be like you plagiarize and you plagiarize someone's idea. It's not good actually. So use quotation and use citation and quotation very critically and very carefully. And actually the judgments, the quotation followed by the judgment. So when you cite the quotation, make sure that your argument really solid, really robust, and you can use this quotation with calm heart. And add the sources you have read into the bibliography because it's really useful. I used more than 200 books, and while I done my research, and it wasn't like the books I found from somewhere or just copied it. No, it were books that I read all of them. I just used descriptive, critical readings, and so I cited all of them. So it's really useful. And if you will start at the beginning, it will be easier for you actually. So there are different types of citation. I think that you all know about this. Harvard, Cambridge. You can click on this on these links, and you can automatically actually cite the journals, books, articles, or even websites by clicking to these links. It will be useful, I guess, for you. Okay, so now critical reading and questioning, as we've mentioned. I wanted to give an example within my proposal. It was about immigration culture of Arabic Persian-speaking pre-modern India. I while writing my proposal, I used a lot of sources from Indian, Britain, Persian authors. And here I refer to one of them, Haned and Masashi, Immigration of Iran in the East India during the 16th, 18th century. So I will show within this example, I will show how I questioned this article. Was it useful for me? Could I rely to it? How did I use it as a reliable source and as a referring source actually? So first, I question, is the source reliable? Yes, it's quite reliable because it's a publication of the French Institute for Central Asian Studies. and it's peer-reviewed journal. Just remember, when try to submit your articles to a peer-reviewed journal, because at the end you'll ask to submit your articles. I mean, to list your articles, and it will be better if these articles are published in peer-reviewed journals. So this is peer-reviewed journal actually, and it's one text journal. It's specialized in Central Asian region, and it highlights the research in humanities and social sciences, and it offers multiplicity of points of view. So it's really reliable. And the next question is it relevant, interesting, worthwhile? So I was referring to, yeah, because it was one of the first research that referred to this problem, to the problem of immigration of Persian intelligentsia to India during the Mughal rule. And despite some lack and biasness, it's actually it's really worthwhile for those to get information, at least basic information about the first Persian immigration wave. So how does the text work, particularly for my research? As my research 60-carat project on pre-modern Indian literature, exploring non-native Indian authors, Arabic and Persian-speaking, and particularly with Turkic region, this article actually partly dealt with the problems of the reasons of migrations, Indianization of Persian culture, formation of Pars diaspora, its destiny. So, yep, actually it worked for my research. What kind of evidence are used? So, what I might stress most that the author, except of other authors, he used the notion of Iranian people rather than Persian people. And it's really right definition, because Iran is a new state. Persian civilization is really old, but Iran state is new. And there are not only Persians, but minorities that more than 20 million Azerbaijanis, Arabs, Kurds, and other minorities living there. So the author used the notion Iranian people and people from Safavid territory. This is exact definition that I relied and I actually used in my research. I refer to this as that people actually that the intelligentsia, Persian intelligentsia that were in India actually were Iranian intelligentsia, with majority with Persians and minorities as well, with Arabs, with Azerbaijani Turks, with Kurds, and etc. So I don't know, maybe you know that you have enough information about the Safavid state that lasted from Azerbaijan to India, encompassed Caucasus, Anatolia, Iran, Central Asia. So this was that evidence that was very useful during my research. Okay, then whether the author presented unbiased or biased information, it was a really great question, because although the author used actually this notion Iranian people, but his work was too personalized. And for example, he relied to the author of Mashar al-Umari, that he claims that his work is too Iranic centric, but nevertheless he relied to this source as the primary source, and reluctantly it actually affected the mood of his work. And he claimed that there were minimal number of Azerbaijani Turks living in India. However, further, I refer to other sources for comparison. It's really important. Don't just limit it with one source, but try to find a lot of sources. Just will examine even one topic. It's really important, because you can find an opportunity to compare and to get the right argument actually. So I appealed to another sources, and I found that there were a lot of Turkic origin intelligence in India, and I made a conclusion that the author actually personalized his arguments were too personalized, and some evidence need really another reliable sources to be justified. So, and it was one of them biased claims that the Turkic people was primarily tribal, the climate in India weren't appropriate to them to the nomadic life of life, but he actually didn't point out that actually Safavid and Mughal empires were established actually by these Turkic tribesmen, and along being leaders, they were one of the creators of most heritage, most precious heritage in the world. So this author's argument about this evidence was arguable and non-reliable. So I took into account this. And what are the underlying assumptions? It should be made straight that it must be underlined that although the Mughal empires are regarded as Sunni state, it working Iranian Shiite immigrants at all times. In this respect, the Mughal Empire was undoubtedly much more liberal and pragmatic as far as religion was concerned than the Ottoman Empire, which never permitted Shiite administrators. This was one of the underlying assumptions made by the author, and I made stress as well during my research work. And as well, I argued that it wasn't about earning good life, but to escape actually political religious repercussion, and it was like a good life, and in India during Mughal regime that most intelligentsia tried to go there and to live there. Okay, so these are questions you should ask. You should actually ask yourself just to precise if this source suits you or not, if you can rely to this source, if the information in the source is given is reliable, how you can use it, what are the ways to use it. So it doesn't mean that you should actually write it down like me here, but I did it just to show you that while you read something, while you read the source, just try to question it, try to find answers to all these questions, and actually it will help you very easily to construct your research work. Okay, let's go. So we're slowly shifting to the writing skills. What is the writing skills? It means that the writer to write down his or her thoughts, ideas, opinions, facts, stories in a manner which make the thoughts clear and comprehensible to the reader. It's really important because, as I've mentioned, the purchase is your audience. So you should actually deliver your message to them in exact, precious, in a way of quality, in a way of persuasion, and even the informal language, but it can be very simple, understandable. Okay, so difference between critical writing and descriptive writing, as was the similar, actually it's the similar as it was with the rating. The descriptive writing describes what something is. I don't claim that you don't need it. No, you need it actually, because you need to give the background to your research, to state your theory, to explain the methods of the experiment, to give biography of the famous person, for example, outline the history of the event. So, but nevertheless, just keep it in a medium, because you should actually focus on the critical writing, evaluating, analyzing more than one source to justify your argument. And So you don't need actually just to string quotes together, like for example, this author said blah blah blah, or this source claims blah blah blah. No way. You can say like, although this author claims that, however, just try to evaluate, try to analyze, justify, and argue the argument assumption given by the author. So it's really important. So there are steps: describing, evaluating, announcing, and concluding. So just relying to the steps, you can actually figure out what are the ways to constitute your research work in an appropriate way. Okay, so here are the steps to make the development process. As we've mentioned at the beginning, the ProWriting process. We just write everything. We collected our sources. So we slowly shift to the writing process. Dr. Shakel and other speakers already talked about the organization structure, about the construction of the research work. So you have enough information about them. After you made notes, as I've mentioned, with red pen, you defined sources for your research. Planning step, it's really important. When you plan a step, actually you have done 50% of your work. Then write detailed outlines. It will serve to construct your research work in an appropriate way. Then when you're editing, actually, when you try to edit your first draft, don't think that it will be excellent. No way. It's like first pancake. So and then nobody will praise it like, oh, it's cool, something like this. No way. So try to give your draft to your peers, to your supervisor. They can provide advice actually on the grammar, and so editing, proofreading will help you actually to take care with that. So don't panic. I remember that I edited my book by myself 3 times, and after third time I was satisfied that it's done. So even professor, they submit their articles to proofreaders to check with the grammar, with the punctuation, with the spellings. So it will help you, and don't be scared about this. So correctly cite your sources. Sorry, yeah?
Excuse me, ma'am, you have 5 minutes more.
Oh, okay. So here are maybe I will share with the students if they would like. There are helpful tips. What you should do. You should be clean, logical. You should explain correctly, justified by references, and avoid introducing your ideas by stating, I think, my opinion, because now we use most we instead of I. So, and one more thing, that increasingly most journals and publishers, they ask for active style rather than passive, like in the third person. So try to use active tense, and try to restate your arguments by writing we claim or we think, something like this. And so you so to try to follow the information, interpretation, and evaluation, as we mentioned during our presentation. Avoid filler words, jargon, slang, and abbreviations. Academic language is formal language. Actually, you can use informal when there is literary piece, or maybe literary say or story. You can use some part that given in the literary story or author just gave in informal language. You can, for example, if you're a critic, and you can review this language, but totally to use it for all your language style is not appropriate. So I just said, if you're writing in English, here really good websites, you can click on them and you can find really cool tips, helpful tips. Actually, this is Grammarly, Grammar, Go, and with the quick dirty tips, so you can find it there. So general single digit numbers from 09 should be spelled out by words instead of 3. For example, use a word spelling 3. Numerals generally accepted in dates, addresses, percentages, monies, foreign paid. Just making sure that you will follow these rules. Okay, and formal writing should carry tone of certainty. Don't use like so on, etc., such as, because it really make the reader to feel uncertainty about the author, and it really belittle, even diminish the credibility of the author. So you should actually use precise words and specific synonyms actually to improve the sharpness and persuasion of your work. So it's really important. And don't use non-content and filler words like they, should, actually, from, and, because yeah, they're really cool words like link and linking words to join the words, but overusing them make the just focus shift from the content, from the essential part. So just avoid it to use it. Okay, I'm concluding the references, and you can see here all references, the helpful sites, and you can find really cool information from there. I guess that it will be useful for you. And at the end, I wanted to actually, I believe that actually it's not really easy step and to make at the beginning. So but once you take the step, it will lead you actually. So don't give up, and don't think that you couldn't read all sources. You can't. Don't think that you can't write. You could. And their supervisor, they're really cool sites, they're your peers, your friends, you can just share with them. They can give your feedback, your supervisor can lead you. And for example, my supervisor helped me a lot, but at the beginning it was really hard. And I remember that I edited my thesis maybe 10 times. So it's not easy, I know, but editing and proofreading will really help you. If you take with full arms, you can cope with all challenges. And when you actually use some sources, don't forget to highlight really good strategies and techniques that can be useful for your writing. So I guess that my presentation was helpful to you. It was like brief summary that what can be useful, what can be helpful for you. And I wish you all good luck. And thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll pass